Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching, Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav Sir. I welcome you all in a very important session. So as you all know, on this channel we comes up with the finance current affairs on Tuesday, Thursday as well as Saturday at 5:15 p.m. So I am back again with a very important session, and in today's session we are going to discuss some of the important news related to your financial sector from the dates that is 7th and 8th of January 2025. If you are preparing for RBI Grade B examination, or you may be preparing for SEBI or any other regulatory body exam or any other bank exams, this session is a must watch session, and I assure you that each and every news which we are going to discuss in this particular session is going to help you a lot in your upcoming examination. So without any further delay, let's get started, and just let me know in the comment section that I'm audible, visible, everything is fine, we are good to go, so that we can begin the discussion without any further delay. Continue the discussion without any further delay. And before I start, I would request you quickly copy the link of this session, share it with your friends. I'll also do it. You do it along with me. Open up your phone, open up your network and quickly share the link with your friends so that everyone should be aware that yes, finally this session is live. And I assure you today the news which we are going to cover, all the news which we are going to discuss, they possess the potential that they can be asked in the examination, and that too in the upcoming season itself. So good evening everyone, let's begin the discussion. So first news from where we are going to start our discussion is, please pay attention. The first news from where we are going to start our today's discussion is RBI mandates 15-day credit score update. I hope you all are very well aware of the term that is credit information companies. Credit information companies are basically the companies which collect credit history of the borrowers from all the regulated lenders in the country, and that collected information is arranged, and after arranging it, individual, or I would say the entity based data is created. What I'm trying to say, let's say there is an individual A has borrowed loan from bank SBI, and after 3 years a new borrowing is done from ICICI, and down the line 5 years now the borrowing is need to be done from some other bank, let's say Axis Bank. So before Axis Bank provide the loan, bank will try to understand the credit history of that individual A. Now if bank is performing this operation on its own, it is going to be time consuming as well as other resource consuming. So in order to simplify this particular scenario, credit information companies are set up in the country, and these credit information companies, they collect the information from the lenders, and the collected information from the lenders is arranged, and on the basis of the credit history, finally the score is provided, and generally the score is provided out of 900, and the score is in a range of 300 to 900. I would say closer the score is to 900, that means the credibility of the borrower is much better, and easy access to the loan will be provided by the bank, by the lender. So recently RBI has come up with a update, and the update says what? So the update says that all the lenders, they are sharing the information, they are sharing the information with the credit information companies, and this shared information with the credit information company will help them to come up with a better credit score. But in order to make this credit score more real time, more accurate, now the updation is need to be done within 15 days, or I would say it is need to be done at a span of 15 days. Now sir, you must be wondering, if today it is need to be done at a span of 15 days, what was the earlier scenario? The earlier scenario was 30 days, but generally on an average it was witnessed that the updation was done on an average of 40 days. So there was a delay of credit information update with a gap of 40 days, which was reflected on the credit score. But now this update will be done within 15 days or up to 15 days. This reflection on the credit score will help the lenders to provide loan after analyzing the credit score of the borrower in a better scenario. So let's check out what the news is. As of January 1st, 2025, Reserve Bank of India has implemented regulations requiring lenders to update credit bureau records. Credit bureau record means credit information company records. Why they're using a word credit bureau? The reason is one of the most important, the largest credit information company is SEBI. So Credit Information Bureau of India Limited, in that particular context, this term has been used. So this change, why it is done? As I said, it is done to enhance accuracy as well as timeliness of credit score calculation, which will reflect borrowers' financial activities more promptly, and it will be treated, or it will be obviously a better and updated credit score which has been published. So previously the update was done, often delaying the presentation, and it was occurred on monthly basis, but generally it was witnessed that this update is done within a period of 40 days. But now a strict guidelines have been introduced by RBI, where RBI said that lenders, they should update the credit information companies every 15 days so that a better credit score creation can be done. Is it clear, everyone? May I have a reply in the comment section, please? May I have a reply in the comment section, please? Whatever I'm discussing with you, is it clear? Whatever I'm discussing with you, is it clear? And those who are listening to me, guys, can you give me the examples of credit information companies? How many credit information companies are existing in India? If I say one of the most important one is SEBI, we all know that. One of the most important one is SEBI, we all know that. What about other credit information companies which are currently present in the Indian economy? Anyone can name those? Anyone can name those? Do we have more credit information companies? Yes, sir, we have more credit information companies which are operating in the country, undoubtedly. But the largest one, the most reliable, I would say, or the most prominent one out of the all is what? So that is known as what? So that is known as Credit Information Bureau of India Limited. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear, everyone? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir, so that we can move ahead. If it is clear, just give me yes, sir, so that we can move ahead. Chalo. Now, moving on to the next point related to the same. The next point says, whenever we talk about these credit scores, what basically the credit score is? A credit score basically means the credit worthiness of the borrower. And how we calculate the credit worthiness of the borrower? So we calculate the credit worthiness of the borrower with the help of credit history. So what I'm trying to say with the help of credit history, so we as a lender will check the payment history, or I would say credit information companies, they check the payment history as per the data shared by banks and the other lenders, which include timely payment of credit card bills as well as loan bills. Second point is credit utilization, which means ratio of credit used to available credit. For example, you have a credit card of limit 1 lakh rupees, and on an average you are using 1 lakh or 90,000 plus every month. This shows that there is a huge requirement of credit on this particular individual. That means this individual is not doing pretty well financially, and it may undoubtedly impact the existence, or it may undoubtedly impact the return of the future loan in the upcoming days to go. So this is going to be considered. Third point is credit mix. Credit mix is variety of credit types, such as what type of loan has been taken by the borrower. Does he borrow the loan against, I would say, immovable asset, that is mortgages, or he has taken unsecured loan, that is personal loan? That is also reviewed. Lastly, we review the recent credit inquiries, that applications for new credit products, that how many times this individual has reached to the banks or different lenders to raise the loan on day-to-day basis. So these are the factors which are basically used. These are the factors which are basically used by, I would say, credit information company, on the basis of which credit score is provided. So this is very important. I'll love to repeat it once so that if any question is asked, you can answer it pretty well. Whenever someone asks you what is credit score, so it is basically the credit worthiness. It is basically the credit worthiness of the borrower. Second point is, so credit worthiness of the borrower depends on what? So it depends upon, or it is calculated on the basis of payment history, credit utilization, credit mix, and the last is latest or recent credit inquiries. On these four factors, your credit score is basically presented. Got it? Moving to the next point. What will be the impact? So now if all the lenders, that means all the banks, all the NBFCs and other loan providing regulated entities of RBI, they will be updating the credit information companies on, or I would say they will be updating the credit information companies every 15 days. That means the data which is received by the banks at the time of taking the decision that whether we should provide loan to this individual or not, that data is not stale. It is fresh data which has been updated in last 15 days itself. Moving to the next point. Previously, the missed payment could take up to 40 days to reflect. So if you have not paid your installment, the not paid installment update in your credit score, it took around 40 days because 30 to 35 days is generally taken by the bank and then the reflection is witnessed in the credit score. So in order to avoid this delay, or in order to avoid the long period of 40 days, now updation will be done within 15 days. So with real-time updates, lender will receive more accurate information which will undoubtedly help the lenders to assess the borrowers in a better manner, and if the borrowers are assessed obviously in a better manner, the bank lending can be done in a better format. Last but not the least is, what are the benefits for the lender? So the first benefit for the lender is assess current credit information or latest credit information. This enables them to make informed decisions regarding personal loans, and it will enhance data which will allow them to detect the potential risk before taking the decision of lending. But if this issue has been introduced, regarding the 15 days, there will be several challenges. What challenges we are going to witness? Some multiple loan application. First time borrowers often apply for multiple loans, leading to potential repayment issues. Frequent updates will help lenders monitor borrower behavior more closely. And second is preventing evergreening. What is evergreening? Evergreening is basically the practice of taking new loans in order to pay off old loans. So the moment your credit score is updated on 15 days, the practice of evergreening is going to be challenged. How it is going to be challenged? So earlier you are borrowing new loan in order to pay back the older one, and if you have not paid the last installment for your old loan, that can easily be reflected at the time of new borrowing, because this updation is done on 15 days period. That is the point which you need to remember. Last and the foremost important point is, it will help the banks to improve their EMI management. What I'm trying to say, with various EMI due on different dates, the previous monthly reporting system could lead to outdated data, but now 15-day cycle will reduce the outdatation of data. Done, guys? Clear? So if I conclude the entire news, what that basically says, it says that RBI has come up with a new update that the lenders, the regulated entities of RBI, which are lending loan to the individuals and entities, they need to update the data within 15 days with the credit information companies of the country, which will enhance the reliability as well as accuracy of credit scores. Most important point, on what factors credit score is calculated. So credit score depends on 4 factors. The first one, we have payment history. Second one, we have credit utilization. Third one, we have credit mix. And the fourth one, we have the credit inquiries. So these are the areas which you need to remember. Now, moving on to the next news. The next news talks about I don't know how many of you have gone through with the newspapers recently, but if you check the newspaper, especially if you open up any financial newspaper, you will find the statement that rupee is falling with respect to dollars and it is at its record low. It is at its record low. So why this information is important? In this particular information, I will be sharing with you three things. First one, the reason that why rupee is falling with respect to dollars. Second, how RBI is trying to manage, the depreciation of rupees. Third, what is the impact of rupee depreciation with respect to US dollar. So let's quickly check out all these news. First of all, if I show you the current status as of 11th of January 2025, $1 is equals to 86.20 rupees. It is equals to 86.20 rupees, which is all-time low. As you can see, the value of dollar with respect to rupees, this is all-time high, or we can say rupee value with respect to dollar is all-time low. And why it is low? What are the reasons? So let's quickly jump to the reason. Before that, you must understand that in the month of December, we have witnessed a record low of 85.81, but as of January 11, it is as low as 86.20 rupees. Remember that this decline has marked a 3% depreciation over the year. Now, you need to understand a term, depreciation and appreciation of currency. Then you must be aware of the term devaluation and valuation of currency. In order to understand these four terms, you must be aware of fixed exchange rate and floating exchange rate. So I'll explain you one by one. Please pay attention. First, I'll start with fixed exchange rate. When India got independence, even before India got independence and even after India got independence, India was using the method, this is known as fixed exchange rate. Fixed exchange rate basically means when you decide the exchange rate of two currencies with the help of a pegged, I would say, commodity or a pegged currency. What I'm trying to say, so let's say you are comparing rupees and dollar with respect to gold, which means you have pegged gold in order to compare the currency. So you're checking out the price of gold in India, you're checking out the price of price of gold in US, and then you compare these two. This is known as what? This is known as fixed exchange rate, where the exchange rate depends upon any commodity or maybe a currency which is pegged. So this is known as fixed exchange rate, and this exchange rate remains, I would say this exchange rate remains constant until and unless the comparison is updated, until and unless this comparison is reviewed. And that too before, I would say 1991, the prices of gold in India were regulated by the government. They were decided by the government. So we can say that indirectly, fixed exchange rates are decided by the government only. If government decreases the value of its own currency with respect to the international currency, we call it as devaluation. यानी कि जब सरकार अपनी करेंसी की कीमत यूएस डॉलर या फॉरेन करेंसी के मुकाबले जानबूझ के कम करती है, जैसे कि अगर मैं कहूं ₹1 बराबर है $1 के, अब सरकार ने कहा नहीं नहीं सर, अब से ₹2 बराबर होंगे $1 के। वो कैसे किया? गोल्ड का प्राइस इंडिया में रिवाइज कर दिया। अब इससे होगा क्या? इफ यू हैव रिड्यूस्ड द प्राइस ऑफ रुपीज विद रिस्पेक्ट टू डॉलर, दिस मींस आपकी कंट्री की एक्सपोर्ट्स क्या होंगी? चीपर हो जाएंगी। द एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑफ द कंट्री will become cheaper, and if exports of the country becomes cheaper, undoubtedly the exports of the country increases, and it will help us to fight against the requirement of foreign reserves. It will help us to fight against the requirement of foreign reserves. Now in that particular scenario, India mein devaluation was done first of all in 1949, then it was done in 1966, then it was done twice in 1991. Then finally, India shifted to a new method that is known as floating exchange rate. But there is one more term which is known as valuation, when government increase the value of its currency with respect to the foreign currency intentionally to make the imports cheaper, that is known as valuation. But unfortunately इंडिया को कभी मौका नहीं मिला अपनी करेंसी को वैल्यूएट करने का. कमिंग टू दिस पॉइंट, फ्लोटिंग एक्सचेंज रेट का मतलब है सर ये वो एक्सचेंज रेट मेथड है जो कि डिपेंड करता है या जो कि बेस्ड है किस पर सर. इट इज बेस्ड ऑन, इट इज बेस्ड ऑन व्हाट सर, इट इज बेस्ड ऑन डिमांड ऑफ लॉ. तो आपका जो लॉ ऑफ डिमांड है वो क्या कहता है सर, लॉ ऑफ डिमांड की अगर या मैं मार्केट लॉ की बात करूं तो मार्केट लॉ क्या कहता है, डिमांड एंड सप्लाई दे आर गोइंग टू डिसाइड द प्राइस. सो डिमांड with respect to price, supply with respect to price, and this is the point of equilibrium where demand and supply decides the price. And today Indian currency exchange rate is decided on the basis of demand and supply of dollars. What I'm trying to say, just assume कि ये जो यूएस डॉलर है ये एक तरह की कमोडिटी है जो आप परचेज कर रहे हैं. अगर यूएस डॉलर पे डिमांड बढ़ी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू सप्लाई, प्राइस बढ़ जाएगा, और अगर सप्लाई बढ़ी विद रिस्पेक्ट टू डिमांड तो आपके प्राइसेस क्या होंगे, कम होंगे. सो दैट इज बेसिकली टर्म्ड एज द करेंसी वैल्यूएशन इज डिटरमाइंड विद द हेल्प ऑफ फॉरेन एक्सचेंज रेट्स. नाउ अब अगर इंडिया की करेंसी जैसा कि मैंने आपको बताया कि डेप्रिशिएट हो रही है, तो क्वेश्चन ओवर हियर इज व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ RBI in this depreciation wala format. But before I come to this, you must understand a very important point that why, you must understand a very important point that why these one second. You must understand that why Indian currency is depreciating. Sir, Indian currency is depreciating due to few reasons. The first reason which I have for this is India's low exports. India's exports are decreasing. Second is outward flow of foreign institutional investment. That means the institutional investment in India is flowing out because of instability in the Indian stock market and many other reasons. Second point is inflation scenarios. Inflation scenario जो इंडिया में है, globally inflation scenario better है. Global inflation scenario better. It's better to invest outside India. Next is Federal Reserves ने अपने रेट कट किए हैं. Federal Reserves rate cut has also resulted in the disinvestment in India. So these are the reasons जिसकी वजह से outflow of foreign currency ज्यादा है. And whenever there is an outflow of foreign currency, which means supply is less than demand, and if supply is less than demand, price will increase, which means अगर $1 पहले 80 रुपए का था, उसका प्राइस इंक्रीज होगा, तो इंक्रीज होकर कितने का हो गया, 86 का. अब क्वेश्चन आता है कि सर सेंट्रल बैंक का इसमें क्या रोल है. अगर हम सेंट्रल बैंक के रोल की बात करें तो सेंट्रल बैंक का रोल काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है. और सेंट्रल बैंक का जो रोल इनिशिएट होगा सर, वो इनिशिएट होगा किससे, मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी से. अगर आरबीआई ने मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को लूज किया, लूजर मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, यानी आरबीआई ने मनी सप्लाई मार्केट में बढ़ा दी, और अगर आरबीआई ने मनी सप्लाई मार्केट में बढ़ा दी तो इससे होगा क्या सर, आपकी करेंसी डेप्रिशिएट करेगी. क्यों डेप्रिशिएट करेगी, अगर इंडियन रुपीज मार्केट में बढ़ गए तो ऑब्वियस ही बात है वैल्यू उस चीज की कम हो जाती है जो अबंडेंस में. सिंपल है ना, कोई भी चीज की अगर आप सप्लाई बढ़ाएंगे तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या होगी, कम. तो अगर आपने रुपीस की सप्लाई बढ़ा दी तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या होगी, कम. और अगर आपने रुपीस की सप्लाई कम की तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या होगी, ज्यादा. दैट इज अ पॉइंट. अगला पॉइंट आता है सर जो फॉरेन डिमांड फॉर गुड्स एंड एसेट्स है. तो अगर हम बात करें इंडिया की करेंसी की, तो इंडियन रुपीस पे डिमांड नहीं है. व्हाट डू आई मीन विद द टर्म इंडियन रुपीस पे डिमांड नहीं है सर, इसका मतलब इंडिया इज नॉट, I would say, one of the biggest global exporters. World is not truly dependent on us. Whatever we are exporting, that is readily available in the other nations as well. So high foreign demand necessities purchasing local currency, thereby increasing its value. तो आपके लिए जो foreign currency की डिमांड है वो इंक्रीज हो रही है, फॉरेन गुड्स की डिमांड इंक्रीज हो रही है, तो अनडाउटेडली जो आउटफ्लो ऑफ फॉरेन करेंसी है दैट इज इंक्रीजिंग, ड्यू टू विच फर्दर रूपी इज फॉलिंग डाउन. जब भी कभी रूपी फॉल करता है इसका फायदा और नुकसान दोनों होते हैं. हु गेन्स व्हेन रूपी फॉल, सर इफ द रूपी इज फॉलिंग डाउन, सो द which are importing from India, the countries which are importing from India or the countries to which India is exporting, उनके लिए फायदा हो गया। कैसे? अगर आज $1 80 का है, वो प्राइस चेंज होकर $1 90 का हो जाए, तो जो प्रोडक्ट हम बेच रहे थे जिसका इंडिया में प्राइस 80 था, तो इंटरनेशनल प्राइस था $1। अब अगर $1 इज इक्वल टू 90, तो इंडिया में आज भी उस प्रोडक्ट का प्राइस 80 है, लेकिन उसे हम सेल करेंगे लेस देन $1। उसे हम सेल करेंगे एट लेस देन $1, क्योंकि $1 विद रिस्पेक्ट टू रुपीज क्या हो गया? बदल गया। सो इस सिनेरियो में क्या होगा? ओवरऑल एक्सपोर्टर्स को बेनिफिट होगा। द एक्सपोर्टर्स ऑफ आई वुड से इंपोर्टर्स को बेनिफिट होगा, इंपोर्टर्स ऑफ इंडियन गुड्स। और नुकसान किसे होगा? सर हर किसी को नुकसान होगा, फिर चाहे वो इंडिया का इंपोर्टर है, चाहे वो इंडिया का एक्सपोर्टर है, चाहे इंडिया के रेजिडेंट्स है हु आर रिजाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया। अगर इंडिया के रेजिडेंट्स है हु आर रिजाइडिंग आउटसाइड इंडिया, जब वो पैसा इंडिया में भेजेंगे, जब वो पैसा इंडिया में अपनी फैमिली को भेजेंगे, उन्हें बेनिफिट होगा। बट एंड ऑफ द डे उनकी फैमिली के पास जो पैसा आया, उस पैसे को जो फैमिली यूटिलाइज करेगी, उसका रिफ्लेक्शन कम होगा, क्योंकि अगर इंडिया के करेंसी की वैल्यू कम है, फॉरेन गुड्स हम महंगे प्राइस पे खरीद रहे हैं, तो इंडिया में इन्फ्लेशन रेट्स क्या है? दे आर प्रिटी हाई। क्लियर हुआ? अगली बार अगर आपसे कोई पूछे दैट व्हाई इंडियन करेंसी इज फॉलिंग डाउन, यू मस्ट रिमेंबर। अब इस सिनेरियो में आरबीआई क्या करे? सर आरबीआई क्या करता है? जो आरबीआई के पास फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स है, आरबीआई उन फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स को सेल करता है मार्केट में। आरबीआई फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स को सेल करता है मार्केट में, ताकि आरबीआई क्या करे? फॉरेन करेंसी की सप्लाई को इंक्रीज कर दे। अब अगर आरबीआई फॉरेन करेंसी की सप्लाई को इंक्रीज करेगा अगेंस्ट इंक्रीज डिमांड, तो वो जो डेप्रिसिएशन था किसका? रुपीस का, या फिर ये कहो कि जो इंक्रीज इन प्राइस ऑफ यूएस डॉलर था विद रिस्पेक्ट टू रुपीस, वो उतनी तेजी से नहीं होगा। और ऐसा देखा भी गया। अगर मैं सितंबर की बात करूं, सितंबर में आरबीआई के जो रिजर्व्स थे, दे वर क्लोज टू $700 बिलियन। लेकिन अगर मैं बात करूं यही रिजर्व्स एट द एंड ऑफ दिसंबर 2024, इट इज $640 बिलियन। और ये जो फॉल इन फॉरेक्स रिजर्व हुआ है आरबीआई के, वो क्यों हुआ? बिकॉज आरबीआई सेलिंग दीज फॉरेक्स रिजर्व्स इन द इंडियन मार्केट इन ऑर्डर टू इंक्रीज द सप्लाई ऑफ foreign currency in the Indian market in order to avoid the further depreciation of Indian currency. Got it, guys? Clear हो गया? समझ आ गया? If it is clear, just give me yes, sir. If next time anyone asks you, what are the reasons due to which Indian currency is falling down, I'm pretty sure you will be in a position to answer this question. और ऐसा question expected है इस बार, ऐसा question expected है कि आपके एग्जामिनेशन में डायरेक्टली पूछ लिया जाए। We are expecting that this question can be directly asked. This question can be directly asked in your upcoming examination. Clear हुआ जी? आगे बढ़े? Shall we move on to the next point? Okay. Moving on to the next point. Income inequality trends in India in 2023. I hope you must have heard about income inequality. Income inequality का मतलब क्या? Simple example. दो फैमिलीज को आप कंपेयर करते हैं, within your relatives, within your neighbors, सबकी इनकम सेम नहीं है. There is a difference between the income of two household. That is basically shows us the income inequality. और जब इस इनकम इनइक्वालिटी को पूरी नेशन के लिए देखा जाए, तो दैट इज नोन एज इनकम इनइक्वालिटी ऑफ द कंट्री. एंड रिसेंटली इनकम इनइक्वालिटी ऑफ इंडिया के लिए कुछ डेटा प्रेजेंट किए गए. So with respect to change in US trade policies, what are the factors? हाँ, अगर मैं बात करूं due to the new president as well as the change in the trade policies of US, sanctions introduced by US, undoubtedly जो हमारे exports हैं, they are going to decrease. And if our exports are going to decrease, inflow of foreign currency is going to decrease. And if inflow of the foreign currency is decreasing, undoubtedly, this depreciation will further increase. Undoubtedly, this depreciation will further increase. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Chalo, moving on to the next point, income inequality trends in India. So if I talk about the latest data, a working paper has been presented by People Research of India. Remember that PRICE. PRICE stands for People Research on India's Consumer Economy. It has come up with the income inequality of India. That means they have given the income inequality index, and that index is known as Gini index. What is this Gini index? Let's try to decode this. So Gini index basically means on y-axis we keep the income, on x-axis we keep the population. We keep the population. So income and population. Here we are increasing the population, here we are increasing the income. Now, if income and population, they are uniformly distributed, which means 10% income, 10% population, 20% income, 20% population, 30% of India's total income, 30% population. This is known as uniform income distribution, or we call it as income equality. We call it as income equality, but that cannot be true. That cannot be practically possible. On the other side, if I say there is a situation that almost 90% of the population or 99% of the population, they have zero income, and entire income is in the hands of only 1% or 0.1%. This is known as what? So this is known as 100% inequality. So both 100% equality and inequality, they are not practical situations. Practically what we witness? So practically we witness that majority population, practically we witness majority population has low income, and then income gradually increases with the limited population. As you can see from here, almost 60% of the population is at total 20% income, and rest 20% of the population, as per my example, is handling the rest, let's say 70% of the income. So this is basically termed as what? So this is known as income inequality, and we measure this income inequality with the help of a coefficient, and that coefficient is known as Gini's coefficient. That coefficient is known as Gini's coefficient. If Gini's coefficient is equals to 0, if Gini's coefficient is equals to 0, that means your country is on this line. That means your country is on this line where we say income inequality is 0. And if Gini's coefficient is equals to 1, it means your country is on this black line, which means there is 100% inequality. As I said, there could not be 100% equality, there could not be 100% inequality, which means index will fall within a range of 0 to 1%, and if you are presenting it in the form of percentage, then it will be in 0 to 100%. As you can see, G is equals to 1, 100% inequality. G is equals to 0.71, inequality is decreasing. 0.60, further decreasing. 0.33, further decreasing. And if G is equals to 0, inequality is 0. Now let's check out the data for India. In India, Gini's coefficient or Gini's index has improved. Earlier it was 0.506 in 2020-21. Now it has improved to 0.410, which means in India, income inequality has decreased, which is a good sign. Despite of this improvement, the index remains higher. Despite of this improvement, this index is still higher because we have witnessed the best index in 2015-16 till date. Till date, the best index of India was witnessed in 2015-16, which is 0.367, which is what? Which is 0.367, but इस बार कम हुआ है ये index, which is a good sign, but still it is not the best. The best was 0.367. अगला point काफी important है, and this point is really very important. I want everyone, सब लोग ध्यान देना. इंडिया की अगर मैं बात करूं ना, तो इंडिया में हम इस तरह के एक पिरामिड बनाते हैं, जिसमें हम कहते हैं we have bottom 50% population, then we have middle 40% population, and then we have top 10% population. और उस top 10% population में भी top 1% population की बात करते हैं. जनरली इसके बारे में आपने अलग अलग न्यूज़पेपर्स में पढ़ा सुना होगा, बट यू आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द एग्जैक्ट डेटा. आज मैं आपको एग्जैक्ट डेटा दे देता हूं. द इनकम शेयर ऑफ द 50%, बॉटम 50% earners has increased from 15.84% to 22.82%. यानी ये जो बॉटम 50% पॉपुलेशन है, इनका इनकम शेयर कितना है? टोटल इनकम का 22.82%. टोटल इनकम का कितना? 22.82%. उसके बाद जो मिडिल ग्रुप है, 40% हमारी जो पॉपुलेशन है, उनके लिए अगर हम बात करें, उनका भी जो शेयर है दैट इज इंक्रीज फ्रॉम 43.9, from 43.9 to what, that is 46.6% of the total income, अब अगर मैं 10% की बात करूं तो सर 10% का जो शेयर है वो कम हुआ है, 10% का शेयर कम हुआ है। अर्लियर इट वाज 38.6, अब ये कम होकर कितना हो गया, 30.6%। ये कम होकर कितना हो गया सर, दैट इज 30.6%। ठीक है जी, क्लियर है यहां तक, कोई दिक्कत कोई परेशानी? इज इट क्लियर इन दिस पॉइंट? अब अगर हम बात करें टॉप 1% की, सर टॉप 1% की जो इनकम शेयर है वो भी फॉल हुआ। अर्लियर इट वाज 9% ऑफ द टोटल इनकम, नाउ इट हैज फॉलन डाउन टू 7.3%। इट हैज फॉलन डाउन टू 7.3%। तो ये डेटाज है जो आपके लिए काफी इंपॉर्टेंट है, विच यू नीड टू रिमेंबर, जहां से डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आपसे पूछा जा सकता है। आई होप द डेटा इज क्लियर टू यू गाइज। इज इट क्लियर? टोटल इनकम का 22% किसके पास है, बॉटम 50। टोटल इनकम का 46% किसके पास है, मिडल 40। टोटल इनकम का 30% अप्रोक्सीमेटली किसके पास है, टॉप 10 के पास। अब टॉप 10 में भी अगर मैं सिर्फ टॉप 1% की बात करूं तो उनके पास टोटल इनकम का कितना, 7.3। इसका टोटल होना चाहिए 100%। 30% में 7.3 किसके पास है, टॉप 1%, और बाकी जो टॉप 9% है या 2 to 9% है उनके पास कितना है, लगभग 21%। लगभग 21%। अरे बोल यार, क्लियर हुआ? इतनी डिटेल में कहीं नहीं मिलेगा, कहीं भी चेक कर लेना, आपको इतनी डिटेल में इस तरह से एक्सप्लेनेशन नहीं मिलेगी, विच इज really very helpful for you while writing descriptive answers as well as answering the direct objective questions in your examination. If it is clear, just give me yes sir so that I can move ahead. If it is clear, just give me yes sir so that I can move ahead. चलिए अगले पॉइंट पे बढ़ते हैं। अगला पॉइंट आता है कि सर एज बी सेड कि टॉप बॉटम 50% जो पॉपुलेशन है उनका जो इनकम शेयर है वो इंक्रीज हुआ है। सर इनकम शेयर क्यों इंक्रीज हुआ, उसका रीजन कहीं ना कहीं एमएसएमईज है जिसकी वजह से एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज इंक्रीज हुई है, ग्रोथ ऑफ द इकोनॉमी है जिसकी वजह से अगेन एम्प्लॉयमेंट अपॉर्चुनिटीज इंक्रीज हुई है, और मेजर रोल प्ले किया है गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम्स ने। द सोशल बेनिफिट्स व्हिच आर प्रोवाइडेड बाय द गवर्नमेंट व्हिच इंक्लूड मनरेगा, दैट इज महात्मा गांधी नेशनल रूरल एम्प्लॉयमेंट गारंटी एक्ट, as well as we have DBT, that is direct benefit transfer scheme, which has been introduced by the government. Moving on to the last news, I guess the last one we have is WPI. I hope आप सबने सुना है WPI, wholesale price index. You must have heard about consumer price index. Wholesale price index is basically an index used to calculate the inflation rates, but the inflation rates are calculated on the basis of wholesale market prices. And in case of CPI, inflation rate is calculated on the basis of retail market prices. Second is, in case of WPI, we include only goods while calculating the inflation rates, but in case of CPI, goods and services both are included. WPI base year was earlier 2004-5, which was revised to 2011-12. Now there is a committee setup which is going to take a decision on the further revision of the base year of WPI. Even now we are in talks to update WPI or to replace WPI with PPI. These three things will be discussed in Guys, do let me know in the comment section. Am I audible now? There was some issue with the electricity, I guess, but I think now I'm audible. And if I'm audible, just let me know in the comment section so that I can move ahead. Am I audible, guys? Can you please reply in the comment section? Okay. So we were discussing about a really very important term, and the term which we were discussing about is that is WPI. So WPI is wholesale price index, in which inflation rates are calculated on the wholesale price of goods alone. And when it was introduced, or I would say recently, its base year was 2004-05, then it was replaced to 2011-12, and now there is a discussion going on to revise the base year further. Even there is a discussion that WPI should be replaced by PPI, and CPI is somewhat different, where we include the goods as well as services. So now let's quickly check out what is the news we have. So the news is Government of India has established a committee to update the base year for wholesale price index, where we are aiming to enhance the accuracy of inflation measures. What is factory gate inflation measures? So we are talking about the wholesale market prices. So this initiative reflects the structural changes, because the last base year was updated, and that was 11-12. Now under the chairmanship of Ramesh Chand, 18-member panel, important 18-member panel under the chairmanship of Ramesh Chand, this updation is going to be done, where we are witnessing that the base year may be changed or may be revised to 2022-23, and even we are witnessing the possibility that WPI will be replaced by PPI. I'll explain you what is PPI, don't worry. So the primary goal of updating WPI is basically to provide more precise measure to calculate inflation, first thing. Second thing is, current WPI only talks about goods, it neglects services, which constitute over half of the economic output. We know that. Next is, by shifting to a more comprehensive, we are now shifting to a more comprehensive producer price index. The government is basically trying to capture a broader spectrum of the economic activity. So first thing which is important, भैया 18 member committee setup हुई है. किस चेयरमैनशिप चेयरमैन कौन है? रमेश चंद, रिमेंबर दिस. और इन दोनों चीजों के बाद अगला पॉइंट क्या है सर? WPI का बेस ईयर रिवाइज हो रहा है, और रिवाइज होकर एक्सपेक्टेड है 2022-23 होगा, जो कि पहले 2011-12 था, उससे पहले 2004-05 था. एक और पॉइंट, WPI को अब रिप्लेस किया जा रहा है किससे? PPI से. तो अगला पॉइंट जो हमें समझना है इस डिस्कशन में वो ये कि व्हाट इज PPI. अगला पॉइंट जो समझना है वो ये कि व्हाट इज PPI. अब अगर मुझसे कोई पूछे व्हाट इज PPI, ध्यान से सुनना. देखो, जब आप WPI कैलकुलेट करते हैं, WPI में जैसा कि मैंने कहा, यू कैलकुलेट द इन्फ्लेशन रेट्स ऑन द होलसेल मार्केट प्राइस. होलसेल मार्केट प्राइस का मतलब मार्केट का प्राइस, जब आप गुड्स खरीदने गए लेकिन बल्क में, यू आर परचेजिंग द गुड्स इन बल्क, दैट इज नोन एज होलसेल मार्केट. बट वो प्राइस जो कि चार्ज होगा किस पर? सो द प्राइस विल बी चार्ज ऑन द कंज्यूमर. द प्राइस विच इज गोइंग टू बी चार्ज ऑन द कंज्यूमर. Got it? In case of CPI, Consumer Price Index, inflation rates are calculated on the retail prices, which means अगर आप अपने घर के पास जो दुकान है वहां से एक चिप्स का पैकेट लेने गए, आपने 20 रुपए दिए, तो वो 20 रुपए क्या है? That is the retail price. Again, the price is charged on the consumer. But Producer Price Index is something different. What it says, Producer Price Index is basically an index जो measure करेगा average price change of goods and services. It can be calculated either when the goods leave the place of production or they enter the production process. समझ आया? जब आपके goods फैक्ट्री से बाहर निकल रहे होंगे, फैक्ट्री से जस्ट बाहर निकल रहे होंगे, उन प्राइसेस को यूज किया जाएगा, which will help us to calculate output PPI. और या फिर जब आपके रॉ मटेरियल एंटर हो रहा होगा, कहां? फैक्ट्री में, प्रोडक्शन हाउस में, तो वहां हम कैलकुलेट कर सकते हैं वो क्या? इनपुट PPI. फर्क क्या सर? ये प्राइस कौन सा प्राइस है? फैक्ट्री प्राइस, आउटपुट फैक्ट्री प्राइस. ये है फैक्ट्री इनपुट प्राइस. वो क्या था? कंज्यूमर परचेज प्राइस, फिर चाहे वो होलसेल मार्केट में हो या फिर वो रिटेल मार्केट में हो. तो यहां पर PPI इज बेसिकली वी आर कैलकुलेटिंग the inflation rates on the producer price index, where the price we are including to calculate this index is basically the average price of goods and services, और उसका change कब, जब या तो goods leave कर रहे हो production house को या फिर they are entering. अगर they are leaving we call it as output PPI. If they are entering the production house we call it as input PPI. PPI measures price movement from the seller's point of view. PPI measures what? So PPI measures price movement from the seller's point of view, but on the other side, consumer price index, for that matter, WPI measures the cost changes with the viewpoint of the consumer. तो consumer का viewpoint CPI, seller का viewpoint क्या होगा? PPI होगा. Seller का viewpoint आएगा तो क्या होगा? PPI होगा. I hope what is PPI, how it is different from CPI, that is clear to you. अब WPI में पहली बार ये अमेंडमेंट नहीं हो रही है, बेस ईयर पहली बार चेंज नहीं हो रहा. 2015 में चेंज हुआ था, 2011-12 हुआ था, उससे पहले जो बेस ईयर था वो क्या था? 2004-5. बेस ईयर का रिवीजन क्यों जरूरी है? उसके 2-3 रीजन है. पहला रीजन क्या? बेस ईयर को इसलिए रिवाइज किया जाता है बिकॉज ऑफ द एडिशन ऑफ न्यू गुड्स एंड आउटडेटिंग ऑफ द फ्यू गुड्स. तो कुछ गुड्स जो आपने बास्केट में इंक्लूड किए हैं, द बास्केट ऑफ गुड्स जिसके ऊपर इन्फ्लेशन कैलकुलेट कर रहे हैं, उनमें से कुछ गुड्स आउटडेट हो गए, अब वो मार्केट में प्रोड्यूस ही नहीं हो रहे, दे आर नॉट बीइंग कंज्यूम्ड इन द मार्केट, वी हैव टू रिमूव देम. और कुछ नए गुड्स आ गए, वी हैव टू इंक्लूड देम. और जो कंपैरिजन होगा वो जितना पास होगा उतना बेटर रिफ्लेक्शन होगा. सो इफ आई एम कंपेयरिंग today's prices with the 2004-5 price, तो गैप ऑलरेडी इतना बड़ा है, that will not give a good reflection. So for good reflection we need the latest year, or I would say the closest stable year, with the help of which the calculation can be done, the base year can be taken. Last but not the least is the transition of WPI to PPI. ये crucial है for capturing the price changes across both goods and services. PPI will provide a more comprehensive understanding of inflationary pressures which are faced by producer, और CPI बताएगा हमें inflationary pressure जो कि कौन झेल रहा है, so which is being witnessed by the buyer or by the consumers. तो ये consumer के लिए, producer के लिए. अब expected outcome क्या है? So this will undoubtedly help us to calculate GDP growth rates in a better manner. This will help us to, it will obviously improve the accuracy in estimating the real GDP and better understanding of the inflation trends of the Indian economy. So in the end, what you need to remember, पहली चीज, 18 members committee, रमेश चंद is the chairman. WPI का नया बेस ईयर एक्सपेक्टेड है 2022-23. WPI के साथ अब इंक्लूजन होगा PPI का, ये प्रोड्यूसर के लिए, CPI होगा कंज्यूमर के लिए. PPI फॉर इंडिया किसने रिकमेंड किया था? सर, इट वाज रिकमेंडेड बाय विवेक देबोरॉय कमेटी. लास्ट WPI का रिवीजन कब हुआ था? 2015 में. न्यू पैनल जो रिपोर्ट देगा वो 18 महीने में, नेक्स्ट 18 मंथ्स दे विल सबमिट देयर रिपोर्ट. और आज की डेट में WPI करंटली एक्सक्लूड सर्विसेज, इट करंटली एक्सक्लूड इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड्स. तो ये है करंट स्टेटस ऑफ योर WPI. आई होप ईच एंड एवरी पॉइंट जो हमने डिस्कस किया दैट इज क्रिस्टल क्लियर. आई एम प्रीटी श्योर यू मस्ट हैव एंजॉयड द डिस्कशन. सॉरी फॉर द डिस्ट्रप्शन इन द बिटवीन. शायद कुछ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में इशू था जिसकी वजह से वो डिसरप्शन हुआ, बट आई गेस एक न्यूज जो हमने डिस्कस की in detail, it is clear to you. If any question is going to be asked from these news, I am pretty sure you will be in a position to answer them in the very first attempt itself. You can find the PDF of this particular session on the Telegram. You can just scan this code in order to download the PDF of this particular session. Thank you so much for joining. We'll catch you in the upcoming sessions to go. Till then, stay home, stay safe, take care guys. Good luck. God bless you all.